I'm a businessman. I'm the prince
Welcome,
of
welcome, welcome,
Sam.
welcome. Thank you
I'm
for
a
coming to enjoy the
businessman.
Candy Show.
Taking all I can.
Hey, what's good?
What's going on?
Well, why is it so dark where you at?
Now we here turning it up, you know what I'm saying? Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you most definitely, but I swear you were in that chill mood back there and it's so dark.
Yeah, no, we in here working, you know what I mean? Just creating greatness, man. You know?
Okay. All
How was
right.
your day?
Any possible way you can get to any better lighting?
Absolutely.
Let me ask
Give me
you.
1 second. Let's just talk. Let's
All
just
right.
talk for a minute. We're gonna make it happen. I'm here to stay, not to play, so we're gonna chop it up.
All right, guys. I want you to welcome. We're gonna go straight on into it. I want you guys to welcome Mr. New York all day, Mr. New York all day, Mr. Businessman,
Absolutely.
and we're gonna find out what else we got going on. But and the son of, you all know, the infamous Mr. Frank Lucas, the one whose American Gangster movie was about his life. Guys, I want you guys to welcome my guest, Mr. Frank Lucas Jr.
Mazel tov.
New York is in the house. New York is in the house.
You know, we go down with the shit, man. My team is in the playoffs. We're gonna see what's happening. I'm rooting for them. I think
Oh, nice.
you got the hat on.
Always, yes. This is the first time I'm even worn this hat. I purchased it 2 years ago when I was in New York the last time. So most definitely.
No doubt.
Had to make sure I'm repping.
Yeah, absolutely. So how was your day?
Listen, I was anticipating and waiting on this particular moment right here. I was just cool, chilling out.
Right. That's good. But we're here, you know, just chopping it up. Everything is natural, wonderful. I love the vibes, because that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? I like when it's pure. It's better that way.
Yes. So tell us where you coming from right today. Tell us where you at
Right now. I'm in the studio, you know, just creating magic, you know, and trying to deliver a message, because, you know, right now everything can't be about what we driving or what watch we got on. Right now, people need real messages, and you can include that in your biopic of your life in terms of being an artist and delivering a message, right, about what you have. But it has to be about more than that at this point. You know what I mean? So we're just creating material to, you know, to touch the masses, you know, and give people things that they can relate to on every level.
Nice. So let's talk about this. So first off, this is my first time meeting you, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending the Candy Show. I want to give a special birthday shout out to, I think you know who this person got to be.
I definitely got to give an absolute wonderful special birthday shout out to my boy, you know what I'm saying, Noise NY, you know what I mean? You know, he's a thorough guy, he delivers, man, and he's a good guy too, you know? So cheers to your birthday, my brother.
Yes, and I want to just first of all,
I only got water in the cup, but it is what it is.
You know what? Hey, listen, we got to stay hydrated, so I ain't even tripping off of that.
Exactly.
I do want to make sure that I say what I'm going to say it myself. Happy birthday, Noise. I appreciate all that you've done to make this happen tonight. So it is up to you. Maybe one day we'll get to have something other than water.
Right.
But let's start it off. You are Junior. So tell us exactly, what was it like? Let's start off. I mean, some people might not know who you are.
I mean,
you know, so tell us who you are.
It's an experience. It always has been an experience, because when you grow up being a namesake of somebody that did a lot, you know, you always in comparison too. But then you find that comfort zone where you just you. And that sweet spot is a blessing, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm at in my existence. You know, I've passed all of those, you know, zones of, you know, just running. Now it's the strategy, but the running. So, you know, we're in a very good place right now, you know, business-wise and otherwise, you know?
Okay, all right. So before you got on, First of all, I want to ask this. What was taking you so long? You had a lot of people up in here waiting on you. And I believe, listen, I might say her name wrong. Layla Love said, hey, do you know who she is?
No, I don't.
Okay. She said, okay, Layla Honey Love, she said, make sure that I let you know that she sends lots of support and her love.
Oh,
so,
tell her I said appreciate it from wherever she at in the world. You know, definitely I appreciate that, because at the end of the day, you know, if you're the biggest of the biggest or whoever you are, you could always use support. And, you know, especially in the world we live in now, you know, you could always use a extra push, you know, besides your own motivation.
Okay.
You know, even if you got a lot of self-determination and motivation, such as myself, it's always good to have somebody else giving you the nod, like they see what you're doing. That's a blessing. You feel me?
Yes. So look, we're gonna go back. Let everybody know who's your father and what was it like growing up,
well,
being the son of your
my
father?
father is Frank Lucas. You know, they made the film American Gangster about my dad. You know, which is a movie that, you know, was supposed to chronicle a certain period of his life, and supposed to exemplify the height of his pinnacle. But at the end of the day, you know, it's just amazing growing up, knowing this story, because I grew up with it. I lived it, right? So I hear people talk, you know, different things they say, and I just laugh, because I just snicker, because I'm like, it's crazy, man. It's all good. Everybody's entitled to see things how they see it. But like I said, I grew up with it. But it's funny how, you know, when people say things, and I want to particularly talk of the negative side, right? They always say, they always compare, when they do their documentaries or whatever they're doing, they always say, like Frank Lucas, they always use Frank Lucas as a comparison. So that kind of tells you, like in the Bible, right? How they validate the other parts of the Bible, right? Whether we're talking about the Old Testament or things that happen in the New Testament, right? You will see clearly that they always make reference back to Egypt. Abraham went to Egypt. Moses went to Egypt, right? So they always go to Egypt. Egypt is always a reference point. And the only thing that you can find in the Bible in practicality and common sense from the Bible, right, is Egyptian history. If you go, where else can you go in the world? Can you find Noah's Ark? You understand what I'm saying? Can you find all the different places in the Bible? When I say that, to say that people reach for things to compare themselves to the standard of what things are. Like if somebody wants to knock out Clorox, and it's a new company that comes out, a new bleach company, they'll say 95% better than Clorox and 2%. You know what I'm saying? So they always compare themselves to the one that's there. So, you know, we accept that. Right. We accept that, the good and bad things. You know, there's a lot of guys giving homage. You know, Benny the Butcher and Freddie Gibbs just did a Frank Lucas tribute. You know, those guys are very thorough lyricists and great artists, and they pretty much having a very large and thorough impact in the market. And there's a lot of people saying good things. You know, it's a lot of people you know, giving praise, but we're not looking for that, because I always tell people when we talk about this brand, we're never praising the drugs. What we're talking about is the business intelligence, right, of a man with a third-grade education to compete at the top level of any business, you know, with people in power. In this case, the Italian mafia. My father had to get to a certain point before he was able to, you know, really put his power in play. And when he did, you know, it was very well established, and, you know, he was doing business with a lot of different individuals. And I'm bringing that up to say that his history is solidified. So like I said, it's, you know, we hear people say a lot, but, you know, we respect everything with life. You got to take the good, the bad, and the in between, no matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we cool.
Being that you are his son, at what point did you decide in your life in that you wanted to pursue the music industry? Well,
I've been doing music long before my father, you know, before a movie was thought of. You know what I'm saying? This is something that I've been doing practically, you know, since a child, you know, since early years. So it's just as natural to me as everything else, like brushing my teeth, and which I do quite often, by the way, I would like to say. But, you know,
well, tell us what age were you inspired to want to go into that?
Music, man. You know, we grew up on music. That's what we do.
Right, you're from New York, so let's look. I mean, that's
I'm just saying, it's probably the same, because generally black people, right? You know what I mean? And I'm just saying it because that's our general term. Black people. Some people call us different. but Black people from all over the country have grew up around the same music. Just depending on the era you grew up in, will tell what you're familiar with. You know what I mean? So yeah, we came up on all this stuff, man. The Commodores and all of that stuff, man. All those different artists, man. It's just great. It's just great to have experienced such profound creativity. Those guys were what you refer to now as creatives. Those guys were legit creatives. You know what I mean? Because they had a different way that they went about creating music, even film. Years ago, before CGI, you had an opportunity to see who was really talented as a creative guy, right? Because the CGI wasn't there to necessarily help his push, right? So now it's a lot easier, right? So in the movie business, you got CGI, and in the music business, you got auto-tune.
We ain't gonna talk about that right now. We're not gonna talk about that. We can go on.
Using text. Here's what I'm saying. So when it's used in its proper text, it's cool. Like, for instance, I know you was jamming the T-Pain, right? You was loving T-Pain.
Well, but if you want to talk about that, but if you want to talk about that, you can talk about before T-Pain. You can talk about Roger Troutman. Come on now.
Exactly. I got you. Right. But I'm just saying in a more for those.
Well, before we go on, hold on now, because there's some issues with your freezing and things like that. So I want to make sure that we get you and you ain't freezing
You
up.
feeling some freezing going on?
Yeah, you were freezing for a second there.
How about now? Is that better?
All right. Let's all right. All right. So music was around you.
If it does it next time, interrupt me and let me know, and I'll correct my area.
Oh, most definitely. I will. So music was around you. So basically you've been doing music for a long time. Now, when did you start taking it serious and saying, I'm really going to want to actually start doing it?
How I came up, it wasn't on not taking it serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, you came out in the street and you battled every day. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you won the battles or not, depending on, how much you was going to get. We bet for battles when I was coming up, When I was coming up, it was a certain space to be, in Far Rockaway, Queens. Anybody who they can verify this, who came up out there, you had to be in Far Rockaway. It was in front of Mount Avenue A train. In Brooklyn, a lot of the times it was at Albee Square Mall, and some other places. In Manhattan, it was right by Tompkins Square Park. Like, you would battle, and that's what it was. You know what I mean? And sometimes you would leave with enough money for a pizza pie, and if you wanted to get a little la-la, you would get your stuff, and that's how you would win. That's how you would eat on some days. Like, we came up. That's how we came up. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't never not taking it serious. When you take it serious creatively, that's one thing. But in terms of when I got serious about the actual business part, now that's maybe what you want to know.
Okay.
Tell me. So creatively you take it seriously, right? And then later on, you're like, yo, Cass is really getting, So now you want to get in the race, but then again, you find out what you're made of in this business, because for a lot of different reasons, things may go great, things may go awry, and this happens for the very elite and the mid-level artists. Because at the end of the day, it's always going to be a struggle for people of color to own their own self in any business that is in entertainment or film. You know what I mean? As you see right now, Kanye is talking about creating a situation where he could develop a new model to get artists back their masses, and walk away with their true value. And it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on in the industry because of the whole COVID thing and what's going on financially in the world because of the effect of COVID. What it's doing is it's actually transmuting and transferring the actual idea of doing physical business in media, film, music, and the like is transforming right now to something else. And we don't really know exactly where it's headed, but you can be pretty safe to say in some form of digital space is where it's headed.
So, yet the question was, and you even brought it up, when did you start taking the business side of it seriously?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What age?
That's great. I would say well, you know, I was a part of some things. I was a part of some things in the industry. So at different places and different times. So when I started seeing people that I was working with, writing for and help developing production companies and, you know, things of that magnitude, I started saying to myself, well, yo, you know what, man? You could really get some, you know, because we had other ways to get paper. You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, I was like, yo, this could really go. You could really make some serious money in the music industry when you start seeing, you know, guys in your neighborhood going on tour. You know what I'm saying? And you like, and they wasn't rappers, they was R&B singers, you know. Because I came up on Staten Island too. So I seen, you know, guys like the Force MDs and different people like that going tour and how successful it was. And it was like, wow, these guys really getting it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so.
All right, so basically back in what, the 80s and 90s, around that time frame is when you got into that mind frame. Okay, I really want to actually pursue this in the business way.
I say seriously, yeah, somewhere in the mid 90s, like 95, 96. I was like, yo, it's time. We could get it. That's when you started seeing,
great era.
You started seeing, you know, Cameron and, you know, Lox was coming up and DMX was coming up, and then you start seeing what's going on the West Coast. I was really jumping in the West Coast, and you felt like, and then you seen the South started coming up a little bit, you know, and you was like, yo, this is turning to something. Then you started seeing all of the commercial platforms for commercials on TV for different things, for hair products, to selling foods. You started seeing all of them using rap as a way to advertise their product. You know what I mean? So
So let's just go ahead and let's get some more questions out the way, because this is going to end in a few.
Cool.
So let's go ahead and just get to the core of the interview. You focus really more so like in your 90s. You said, hey, I want to take this seriously because you are the son of an infamous person. Has it been hard? Have you found any roadblocks of people wanting to take you serious because of you are his son?
Of course I found roadblocks, and that's a beautiful thing, because if you're truly the son of, those roadblocks are there for you to show that DNA is in you. You know what I'm saying? You embrace that. You either embrace it or you step off. You got a choice. I ain't going nowhere. I'm right here. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. Now, success is dictated by what? It's dictated by how many records you sell, you know, what deal you got, or is it dictated by your growth as an artist? And even if you have a core audience who appreciates what you do, you know, then there's success in that as well. So you got to be realistic, because you got to understand the way the business operates. You know, if you're not willing to do certain things, there's only certain heights they trying to allow you to climb to, right? So that's fine.
Well, let's be honest. Let's go back. Success is really only defined by the individual. So once again, while you're pursuing to achieve your goal of success, did you get any feedback? And so, yes, you said you did. Now,
that feedback is feedback is a great thing, you know, because it depends on how you build. And if you really are who you're supposed to be, then you're gonna find a way to ace that, you know, and that's what we're in the process of doing right now. You know, it's gonna be on full display real soon.
Have you achieved the level of success that you set out to achieve?
Not even close. Not even 1/70th of it. Straight like that. I'm not even gonna sit here, you know, I don't play them games. I'm gonna be very honest. But not even 1/70th of it. Maybe not even 1/85th of it, if I could really say that. But you know, we're on the way. We're coming now. We figured out the model and the readdressing of the model, how to, you know, put the brand in its exact place. Because it wasn't just about music for me, you know, because I'm an artist, that's always been a part of it. But now, being that the old man is dead, all of the empire has fallen on my shoulders to organize and readdress. You understand what I'm saying? So because of that, you know, I had to make sure I got all my ducks in a row. It's been a little over a year now since he passed last May 30th of 2019.
May 30th.
So it's about a year and a half.
And
everything in order now. We're ready to go. We're about to set this off.
And I definitely want to offer you my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
You know, I have something here where you quoted, and it was from let me just make sure I have it correct, and I believe it was the New York Times. You said, and I'll take that back, it's from the New York Days, the Daily News, excuse me, the New York Daily News. You said, I have no desire to be an American Gangster Jr. As far as I'm concerned, I'm definitely not proud of a lot of things that my father did to rise out of the circumstances.
Right.
So I have a question. Let's talk about that. Obviously, we're seeing that you're being in the music industry. A couple of questions. One, did your father support you in that direction? And then two, with that quote, my question to you is, what made you title your song Blue Magic if you did not want to follow kind of his path per se?
Well, first of all, the reason why we did this song Blue Magic, we did it with the original group Blue Magic, and we did it as an homage to what that era felt like when Blue Magic was a group and when the drug was popular in the street. Because remember, as a people, we had came out of the blues phase, right before we got into disco. So when we got into disco, some of the guys were still great artists, and they still had some of the blues in them, like that, the actual Blue Magic generation from the mid to early 70s, right? And so to have an opportunity to work with those guys and actually do a real song about what Blue Magic was about, not just the celebrating the drug, because that's not what it's never about for us, but talking about the energy that Blue Magic had and what that era felt like. That's what that record was about. So that's why I elected to do the record. When I said I wasn't proud of things that my father did, I was namely talking about what he had to do in order to be in power, which was, sell tons of heroin and handle a lot of people in a certain fashion. You don't want to ever be, one thing I'm proud of, my father, he lived to 88 years old. And if he was anything that people was trying to claim he would have been dead a long time before that. You understand what I'm saying? I walk these streets easy right now. So, we out here, and we respect everybody. We would actually tolerate not a drop of it, though. And that's whether it's on camera or in person. We respect everyone, and we expect that back.
Now, did you guys get a chance to put any input in on the actual movie itself?
Well, in the actual movie, there, of course, my dad had an opportunity to sit with Denzel, for approximately 4.5 to 6 months, and he was able to get his character, his mannerisms, and come up with a Frank Lucas trait. And Denzel really killed it too as well. You know what I mean? My father, in person, fully healthy, was a 6'4.5" to 6'5" man. Yeah. So sitting in a wheelchair and not being able to see the old man's walk, but just getting his hand gestures, his movement, his sings, his thought process. Denzel computed all of that extremely well. That guy's incredible, man. You know what I mean? And I'm humbly proud that he still played my dad's role to this day. So yeah, I'm proud of my father for being a guy that would not just lay down for anyone. I'm proud of him for having a third-grade education and find a way to overcome adversaries in the Italian mafia and live to 88 years old. Because remember, my dad was getting keys at $4,200 a pop, right? $3,000 a month in his height. So, the point I'm making by saying that is he was undercutting everybody, the guys in the street who were his contemporaries, and he was undercutting the Italian mafia as well. And nobody came and got him. So what does that tell you?
I have to say that when I looked at the movie, I was very touched by the things that were going on. Right. Like you said, what he had to do to overcome things.
Like at the end of the day, I have children. What I want my children to so think about it. You talking to a guy, I've lost a sister and a cousin and a nephew off of drugs. You know what I'm saying? Opioids, heroin, crack, so you feel it. It's a boomerang effect regardless. God don't let you go unpunished, whether it's in that generation or the next one. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to have to go through that. That's why I do everything within my power to constantly make sure I set the pace for good karma.
Let's talk about Nightbird. Was that your first acting project?
Nightbird, actually, that was my little first role. Just trying to get my feet wet with what it's like to even act. I didn't even know how to approach it, but we had fun on that set. They was like, yo, take it easy, breathe, and we got through it, man. Yeah, my guy did that, man. Ronnie Benagerie. He's a cool guy, man, from Canada.
Have you done any acting since then? I know you were on a TV show too. Well, like a talk show, correct?
Yeah, I've been on a few talk shows. Fox 5. Well, I could just name them all, but that's a long thing to do right now. But yeah, I've been on a lot of talk shows. And we're gonna hit some of those circuits again as soon as we start to go into promotion mode for product placement, because we're about to drop a whole bunch. You're gonna hear some.
Today. Okay, most definitely. I appreciate. Yeah, let me know.
Today.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Is that the? All right, all right, all right. So check this out. Now listen, were you planning on doing your own version of your dad's The American Gangster? What were you into a production project at one time? What's going on with that? Are you still doing that?
There have been over, let me see, let's say 7 cable series offers and 1 feature offer since the ending of the movie, but we had to wait for everything to legally clear up. And now that we own all of the propriety back in the brand in terms of his commercial and intellectual property, now that we have all of that back in our lap completely, now we can play ball because our cojones are big. What you saying, huh?
Okay, okay. So basically, you guys took a break then for a second there. Obviously,
imagine Universal still had owned a lot of the intellectual property, so we had to wait, until that cleared up. Now that cleared up, we can ready to go on a full success mode and lay everything down, and revisit those situations in terms of television series, because the American Gangster, I'll be very honest with you, it was a very, 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 very supremely watered down version of the reality of it. Yeah, $1 million a day was 116th Street and 8th Avenue. Once again, we're not bragging about the drugs. We're telling you what the man with a 3rd grade education was able to achieve. And had that been applied to any other, business model like Wall Street, he would have been a genius. It was just, drugs. That's what was available to black men at that time. If they wanted to be successful, the offer was help destroy your circumstances, your communal circumstances, and then you can go forward and get this. And at the time, the majority of them looked at it as just business until they actually seen how it played out and completely destroyed the community. And this is 5-7 years after you guys been out there every day, selling drugs. So yeah, a lot of them saw it later, and too late at that point.
Wow. Are you still doing your clothing line as well? Is that also something that's going to be in the works?
Say what?
Going forward? Your clothing line. Were you doing a clothing line also?
Yeah. We're gonna come with the clothing line. Right now, in terms of the clothing line, in terms of the film projects, the television series, these are all things right now that because we're back to full ownership of everything that's representing the brand in the estate. Now we can go full forward and make sure that we accomplish everything that's in front of us to do. Because it didn't make no sense to pursue those deals knowing that we was going to have possible roadblocks for saying, "Now, yeah, guys, we don't agree with it." We didn't want to put ourselves in that position. So now that we are clear, we're re-entering all of those things with a lot of mental vigor and sound business projections. And it's just really feeling good right now to be in the driver's seat, man. The old man gone, but Simba is still here, baby. Let's go. Who want to play?
So tell us briefly, what I noticed that there is a few, and I've definitely looked at a few of the interviews that you had. Tell us a little bit about Jay-Z. Why is Jay-Z so important to the conversation that you have when it's regarding your father?
Let me explain something to you. I don't bring Jay-Z up. People bring Jay-Z up to me, like how you just did in this conversation. I know you did it, partially and mostly from a journalistic standpoint. That's why you brought it up. It's just curiosity and you want to know. So I'll answer your question. I don't have any smoke with Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? The thing is at the end of the day, Jay, he ran with the brand. And you asked me about why I did Blue Magic earlier, because his song Blue Magic, he said he was inspired by the album. You know what I mean? And saying he was inspired by the album because of the man's story. In the album, you didn't tell anything about the man's story. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't tell anything about his story. To me, it more appeared as if it was a platform for him to utilize, because if you look at the sales on the album before, which I believe was Kingdom Come, I believe he sold maybe close to 1 million records, maybe not even. So American Gangster, and the idea of this being a thing right now, on the market, not just in the film, people don't even realize, right? So let me finish explaining this part. So because of that situation with Jay, he was like, yo, I can utilize this as a platform to springboard myself back to the position that I need to be in. And if you look at the sales of American Gangster, it was over 10.5 million. So I guess he was able to achieve that goal. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, don't get it twisted. He might have helped the movie too with him being associated with it, because Jay is a big guy, right? So I'm not going to take that away from him. And I never have any problem with it. People ask me about Jay and what I think about him. He's an extremely talented and accomplished guy. Given the same opportunity, you know, I don't compare myself to anyone. I believe I can achieve the same, you know, or better. And that's just my opinion of myself. It doesn't mean it's the reality of anyone else, but we're about to find out everything right now. Yeah, let's go.
Now, on Businessman, real quick, on Businessman, was that you singing?
What you say?
Were you singing? Were you singing on
We
Businessman?
was playing. It was like a, you know what I'm saying? We was having a little fun with the hook, man. You know, with the businessman. Yeah, we was having fun with that.
Okay. I mean, it's a dope. I love it. I
I
like
wasn't
it.
really singing. I was just, you know, doing a little harmony, man. You know, my guys. I had one of my other guys in there with me. We just had fun with it, man. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, it sounds good. I mean, I like it.
That
So,
record is 2006. That's when we did that record. The record is 14 years ago.
but you know what? But it's still a song that you can still apply to today because you're a businessman.
Absolutely.
And on top, it's like an anthem. Honestly,
I'm
it's
glad
anthem.
you like it. I'm glad you like
And
it.
then you can, oh no doubt. And then you can play it when you're riding out.
I'm gonna play a part of something brand new for you in like 30 seconds. Then whenever you're ready, we're gonna play it for you. You know what I'm saying?
No problem. Go ahead. Head on back to the studio real quick, and you can set that up. Tell us.
You got a set from there?
All right.
All right, listen. Blaze that. Yeah.
Friends don't mean I know that they love from you.
You ready?
Yeah.
I remember the broke days. We ain't had nothing, started hustling and had us on up. Had nothing, we was kids with the streets, made us grow up. Just made a life with the bitch that she chose us. I remember the broke days. We ain't had nothing, started hustling and had us on up. Had nothing, we was kids with the streets, made us grow up. Just made a life with the bitch that she chose us. You talking shit, but you don't really want that. Keep a G down to the marrow. Trust me, you don't want to move against me. But shooters stay on talking like a arrow. Believe it or not, man, the niggas take a point to the side on the sparrow. You really on top, fan. You fuck around with us, you gon' be staring down the barrel. Today, I had to work from a deficit. It's a messy shit. Fuck the surfing, the cooking for pop the bearish, the trappiness. Selling bullets that he had to keep a hammer on readiness. Came from nothing so comfortable, something Lucas and navigate. Biggest of broke, pain, I embrace it and let the message get hated. It's something that you forced me to preach my excellence. Been perfectionist, make that mother grow up a pessimist. This is not the way it is for me, I'm not accepting this. Jumped over the curb and the bullshit to get ahead of this. Done with these fucking friends to new supplements. Started out with
Okay, so tell us what the song is, and when we gonna be able to get it.
We the reminisce, and then he started street shack we represent. You had the nights to rap in the bowl of serving beats like Wimbledon. Came up from the pimpy staircases, it was different. I remember the broke days, we ain't have nothing, started hustling and had to on up. When we was young, the streets made us grow up. This nigga life was a bitch, but she chose us. I remember the broke days, we ain't have nothing, started hustling and had us on up. When we was young, the streets made us grow up. This nigga life was a bitch, but she chose us.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about what's that song. When can we hear it?
Cool.
Like when is it available?
No, that's called Broke Days.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You got.
I definitely
want to talk about the success, right? But we got to talk about some of the stuff that happened. How did you get there? You know what I mean? Like, let's discuss everything. Let's not just talk about that. Let's talk about the pain. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, that's why I like the baby. You know, because that young bull, he be coming with that pain, man. You know what I'm saying? Although he could just talk about the Flash, because that's really all that's mandated to him. But he dropped messages. I really like that kid, man. He talented as hell. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I mean, you have to understand where you've been in order to know where you're going.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, listen, we all weren't born with that level of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even if there was that there, most of the times you still had to earn it.
Oh, you have to.
You know what I mean? So nice.
Yeah, Brad Scott shooting in the gym fast.
Check this out. Who else is in your camp that you're working with right now? So you are a recording artist, but
yeah. I mean,
you have some other people in your camp that you're working with.
Myself, you know, we got a whole bunch of different cats, man, and everybody that we bring into the table, you know, they're marketplace competitive, and I'm not just talking about they trying to sound like someone like a carbon copy. They're marketplace competitive in terms of their own creative intuition. And they have their place and their niche and what they do and how they create. And that really excites me. From the producers, you know, to everybody else they be working with. You know what I mean? You know?
Are you writing your own songs, and are you producing any
Yeah,
of
we
it?
writing our own songs. You know what I'm saying? Right here is one of my producers right here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My big boy right here. Yo, this cat right here, trust me when I tell you, you're going to be like the next Dark Child, man. It's Paul Wintel. That's facts. He fire. He's incredible.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So our whole team is just really talented. And, you know, what we're doing is we're just creating music that we feel is not necessarily about, you know, having a response from a crowd jumping. If it turns out to be that way, if it turns out to be something that you want to bump in your car, that's fine. If it turns out to be something you want to bump in your house, that's fine. Or while you're working out, that's fine. But what we're shooting for is just finding that zone where those anthems are just like, you know, everybody want to talk about they broke days or they went through something that remind them of how that feel. You know what I mean? Because we didn't all have everything we ever wanted.
Right.
Nobody. You know what I mean? How? Shit, even rich kids don't have normal lives, and some of them want that. You know what I mean? It's a trade-off, right? So everybody goes through different things, you know? And we all just try to find that we're just creating moments in time for people to relate to, no matter what they're going through or what time period is. Because if I created records for the moment, then that record that I just played, or the record from The Businessman from 2006, you wouldn't be able to feel it now because it would be like, dang, like, and you can tell it's dated, but it's still relevant in terms of what it's talking about, right?
Right, because most people are trying to be business people. So at the end of the day, tell everyone how they can follow you and your new projects coming up.
Right now you can follow me on Instagram here at Frank Lucas G. That's Frank Lucas G. And Facebook Frank Lucas AGC. You can find me there. You know, and as far as projects are concerned, I'll be popping up my story real soon. Releases, you know, videos, songs, you know, projects that we were just referring to earlier in terms of media projects as well, documentaries, you know, which is something that we're doing now. We're doing a very profound documentary, you know, about the old man. And it's going to shock people. Even the title was going to shock people. I can't say it now, but it's going to shock people.
Oh, nice. Well, I definitely can't wait for that particular project to come out. And I'm going to need for you to send me that song.
I got you. Say less. We're going to
when it's ready.
We're going to mix it, and I'm going to send it to you. That's facts.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you for having me on the show.
Hey, no problem. Tell one other thing, though. Can I hear you spit?
Can you hear me speak?
Without any music?
You can hear me speak.
Yeah, I need to hear you.
I won't refuse it. You know why? Because at the end of the day, the situation is like this. A creative guy is a creative guy, right? So, you know, relevant to my legacy, you can feel my pedigree. I come with the testimony and petrify rappers. Slap them up automatically with bars. When I spit, I kick shit from Mars to bribe. Mars to scribe. Do it with the Marbish ties. They don't understand I'm young and wise. Spit flows off the top of my dome in any area. What is the criteria? Who's the sword bearer? I swear to God, I lay it down with the flows. It's nothing. These cats is like EF button, solar button. As soon as I touch them, they lay down. It's automatic when they spray down. Fucking mask with the way down to the cave down to the cave down. They say now, man, I could go crazy for you, but right now we about to jump into it. No, I'm just playing. Right.
You gotta say that energy for jumping in the booth and laying it down.
Ain't about that. We about to, you know, we're on time over here. I took time out while I'm recording in the studio to jump into the interview. But I'll tell you what, if you want, next time I'll come back and spit exclusively for you freestyle over music and without music. You get me back for that.
Let's do that. Let's set that up so you can come on back. Right. We are running out of time, but that's not a problem. We're going to have you coming back. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Candy Show. Guys, we appreciate you.
Thank you. You know what I mean?
Not a problem. We're going to get you back on next time when you got a little more time. And maybe next time I'll get to rhyme with you, too. Because, you know.
Right, no, we'll do it. Right. But what we're going to do is we're going to throw a beat on. We could both hear, and we're going to go back and forth because that's what really inspires me, man. I mean, I can still up your head with nothing, but when the beat is on, that's the creative canvas to go crazy with it. You know what I mean? Right.
Okay, well, we're going to do that. Guys, stay tuned for the next episode. Guys, make sure you go out and follow him. This is Mr. Frank Lucas Jr., guys. Peace. We're out of here.
All right. One.
Bye-bye.